Everybody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
All right, so last week we got together to just scratch the surface of the Rise of Skywalker. But this week, we're getting together to take our first deep dive. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just the hustle and bustle of the holidays, man. Just
Oh, yeah. Keeping us busy.
yeah, it's keeping me on my toes. It's almost less work to go through the work week.
Yeah, I know. It's more routine anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure. We also got a special treat this week. Hunter's back to join in on this conversation. Hey, Hunter, how are you doing?
I am doing great.
Fantastic.
Great to be
Welcome back.
Awesome.
We're definitely ready to dive into this film. There's a lot to digest, and hell, last week we gave it a go, and we left so much on the table.
Yeah. We still got lots to talk about.
So, where do you guys want to start? First off, Hunter, we didn't get your overall thoughts, obviously, because you weren't able to be with us last week. So, what did you think of the film?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I went into the movie not expecting a lot, which isn't a good feeling for a Star Wars movie. But just from The Last Jedi and everything, I think they did what they could. It was a bit rushed, but there was a lot of great stuff in there, lore-wise and everything. And yeah, I came out with a smile, so that's good. It was a confused smile because there was a lot in the movie, but it was a smile. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely had to sleep on it, and you needed that quiet time to just reflect.
Yeah, it took a couple days, I think,
because there's just a lot to unpack in there, and obviously with the state of the story where it was at, I mean, you had to rebuild a resistance. You established a main villain because apparently there wasn't one.
Right.
I mean, there really wasn't. I mean, Kylo Ren, if you really look at this series, this trilogy, he was never the main villain.
He was the hero.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was the hero trying to be the bad guy, which
I think he was the hero that just didn't have a lot of morals and just went with it.
I mean, he had more to do with the development of Rey as a character than any mentor she had along the way.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
it was mainly her resisting everything that he threw at her, but he aided in her development more so than any other character. And that was kind of odd.
It was very odd. So that, I mean, that goes back to the prior film and everything. I mean, really, when you think about it, right? Because, like you said, Hunter, you walked out of there with a smile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember walking out of The Last Jedi. I wasn't smiling. I was torn between my desire to love the latest Star Wars movie and, what the heck I just saw.
Mm-hmm.
and this one, I feel the same way. I think we mentioned it on the last show. It was kind of like, yes, there was a lot going on, but it was good and it made us smile, and kind of what more do you want? It's wrapped up, so you got kind of like almost a little melancholy feeling because of that, but it was good, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of the issues I had with this film though, is some of that stuff didn't really get time to breathe.
Yeah.
Like you get a reveal and then it was on to the next, it didn't have time to really, flesh out that part of the story. It was just like, here it is, and here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is the fault of, the state of the story, because the story was left so wide open. It didn't really advance from, I guess, essentially part two, part B of part one, which is the way I look at the first two films anymore.
Right.
Is they are almost like two parts of the same film.
Yes.
Because it was The Last Jedi was literally picking up right where The Force Awakens left off, and just pretty much was a second act to that. And then we're going to jump forward a couple years. And maybe not even a couple years. I don't know what the time lapse was here.
I think it was only 1 year.
I think they say about a year. Yeah.
Which
about
is
a year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So they were at least able to grow their numbers from 4 to 30.
30-ish, yeah. Which in a year, I mean, that's doable.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I said, the fact that The Last Jedi just completely obliterated everything that was the Resistance, aside from a handful on the Falcon.
Right.
This movie did what it could.
Yeah.
And I really think it, we had tons of conversations about this, that it should have been 2 films or should have been a much longer film. And I wholeheartedly agree with that at this point, that maybe we should have got 2 more films to wrap this up.
Right.
Part 1 and a part 2, or 9 and 10, or however they want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like people would have been really mad about that, though. Just because.
Yeah, but people are really mad about
everything,
certain things in this. So I mean,
Exactly.
You're not going to make them happy.
I know, but I agree. There was so many good plot points that I wanted to see go further in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
in the end, the dedication should be to the story.
Yeah.
Not to everything the fans want, because you're never going to give the fans everything they want. I mean, hell, the people that were really happy with the last one are pissed off at this one.
Right. Yeah, because some fans got what they wanted. Right. And I got to be honest with you, there are certain things I didn't catch the first time around that I caught on my second viewing today that were kind of along those lines, right? Kind of the things people were complaining about, right? So when Luke gives Rey Leia's saber, that was like his line there. My sister wanted you to have this. I was like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time. That was like, because it was just like Obi-Wan, right? That was Luke taking on that Obi-Wan role.
Okay. There was something, so I don't know if this is 100% accurate, because I've still only seen the film once, sadly. But in the end, when Ben gets the lightsaber,
yep,
and he ignites it, and all the Knights of Ren kind of look baffled, and then he shrugs. That's
right.
Han Solo's shrug.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, and that was just a really cool thing.
Definitely.
So stuff like that, I really want to see it again.
I did notice that
holidays.
today. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's a lot of stuff like that, like it or not, there were 8 films that came before this one that you're paying respect to.
7
8.
that we're paying respect to. 7.
Ah, you're funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. There were 8 films.
Anyway. So, I'm okay with all of that, because that's what this is all about. You're wrapping up this whole story, 42-year-long story, whatever it is, 40. I don't know. Yeah, 42.
Yeah, something. How do you guys feel about Palpatine now that it's settled a bit?
This is one of those things that I think could have, if it had more room to breathe,
that
would
this
have
is
played
one of
out
those things
better.
This is one of those things that definitely needed more room to breathe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more explanation. Because we thought that one was like, that death was like, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
Right.
like it was.
They threw him
more
down
than
this,
Darth
and there's
Maul.
big blue flames and stuff, and then kaboom, the whole station goes bang. So I don't know how you can like say someone's dead more so than that.
So there's part of me, right, that I was still thinking how can there be chunks of the Death Star still around that big?
Yeah, we saw
Right?
a
I mean-
huge explosion that obliterated everything.
Exactly. So, you know,
Well, I mean, the flames engulfing something though doesn't necessarily mean it's all. I mean, I guess
we saw sparks, man.
Nothing left.
you just see particles floating
Right.
at the end.
So I don't know. When it comes to that, okay. I'm okay with it. It's Star Wars, so my suspension of disbelief is, it's kind of out the window.
Right.
So,
What you got to do?
yes. So, okay, fine. But there is a, right? Yes, we cut Darth Maul in half and he came back.
Yeah.
But
But they explain that.
they
We
did.
have a full season
If-
of him turning back to sort of how
Exactly.
he was.
If we had more hints, like, maybe where there was like some time, I don't know, during episode 8, we could have seen Palpatine working behind the scenes, being the puppet master a little bit.
Mhm.
That would have been kind of cool.
I really thought. I know they showed trailers in a whole bunch of stuff of Palpatine like walking towards Rey and stuff.
Right?
I was hoping all that was BS, and that it would have been Kylo found the planet and became possessed by the spirit.
Oh, okay.
That and it would have been kind of making canon the whole life transferring thing that Bane does.
Well, that was made canon verbally, because that's what Palpatine was planning on doing,
Yeah,
but it didn't work
Okay.
out that way.
like seeing it, like what,
Right.
Zana and Bane and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay, so since that's come up, there's one thing I really want to talk about, and then it's when Rey is confronting Palpatine, and he says, "Strike me down in anger,
Yeah,
Right?
and
yeah,
I will leave this body, enter your body, essentially, and I'll still be alive, essentially."
Right.
Right? He was saying he was going to possess her.
Right.
And he kind of made that seem like that was the way of things. I don't know how I feel about that, because does that mean that Plagueis is the one in control of Palpatine?
Right.
Like this, there's this like tree of all these Sith from the Rule of Two, where they just, once their apprentice killed them, they just took over their apprentice body. Is this literally Darth Bane we're dealing with?
Oh my god, I wish, but no. I think it's more so like he learned how to do that. Palpatine was like the Sith besides.
Like he does say, "I am all the Sith."
Right.
Yeah, and I think he's the one who's had the most experience and knows how to do most of the Sith sorcery stuff. Like we saw him doing stuff in Rebels. He had 40 years to just do nothing but gain power in the dark side. I don't think anyone in canon has had anything like that.
My thought when all that talk was going on was this his plan for Luke Skywalker?
Probably.
Because on the
Most
Death
likely.
He
Star,
said, "Strike me
he
down."
said, "Yeah, take your weapon, strike me down." I mean, was that his plan, that he would then assume Luke's body and would still rule with Vader as his apprentice? I mean,
I always thought it was a thing more of like a metaphor. Like you fall to the dark side, you are the next Sith Lord.
right,
And then the Jedi lose because you are the last Jedi.
right. I gotcha.
So does that just mean all of the Sith past live within the current?
I really thought that was more of a metaphor, even though the movie really kind of didn't seem like it was a metaphor. Seeing as all the Sith
I'm
cultists
saying
were watching.
not necessarily metaphorically, and not necessarily like they're the ones in control.
Mm-hmm.
But does that power transfer? Do you
Maybe.
become more powerful when you kill your master?
I would say yes. A little bit. Maybe not all of it, but in a way, the whole balance of the Force, if there's less dark side users, they're going to be stronger. If there's a lot of light side, a little bit of dark, the dark's going to be stronger to compensate, to keep a balance, I feel like.
So this whole balance thing, Joe and I have talked about this a little bit a while back. So George Lucas said,
yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that. I know he
but
put
it's
it.
George's.
I don't. The whole when the light side wins, that's the balance. And in this movie they say, Rey, bring balance to the Force again.
Uh-huh.
It just, I feel like that contradicts a lot of things that we've seen throughout Star Wars.
Yeah, like The Last Jedi.
No,
Yes.
like Mortis, how there needs to be light and dark to have a balance.
So, one of the big questions in fandom now is, was what Anakin did undone by all this? Because he says, he even says in that, when she's communing with all the Jedi past, bring balance to the Force as I did. But did you? Because this guy, he still lives.
Right.
Now, I know they say he was dead. He was brought back.
Yeah.
So
I guess that act, yes, he did kill Palpatine. Someone else undid that.
I would say...
Well, he didn't kill Palpatine. Vader did, but it was his...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vader is Anakin.
Anakin. Right.
Cross myself up.
Yeah, it's fine. I get what you're saying. I would say Anakin brought balance to the Force for a time. There will always be somebody looking to gain power, rule over others during every generation.
It's impossible to stop all evil.
Yes.
I think him killing all the Jedi was also bringing balance to the Force, though. What they became was not good. Like,
oh, you're talking episode 3.
Yes.
You're
Sure.
saying that was part of the act of bringing balance.
Yes.
Interesting.
Like, maybe he went a little too far with the younglings, but in a way, it was like, bring balance. Pure balance. And then Kylo's whole thing was pure balance is there's no one. Like, there's no Jedi, no Sith.
Right.
Just use the Force, whatever. Which I kind of liked.
Yeah,
I like that, but I think it needs more refining.
Yeah. No,
and
100%.
George
Yeah.
says so the light side is balance, right?
Right.
But maybe an overabundance of the light side is also out of balance. So if there were, tens of thousands of Jedi,
Right.
that would be considered out of balance.
Right.
There was balance in the Old Republic when there was, like, thousands of Jedi and thousands of Sith. Like, that wasn't really a problem.
Except for all the killing.
That's the balance. That's life.
All right. So, how this thing with Palpatine had a very, Dark Empire feel to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and we mentioned this before, and he was going to take over Rey through this Force Essence transfer or whatever, right? And then he changed his plan on the fly, it felt like to me. As soon as he was able to absorb some of their life essence,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh,
Screw it.
well, I'll just go with this.
Yeah. He's like, okay, wait, I'm, like, immortal now. Who cares?
So, how do we feel about that?
I think Palpatine's one of those guys that no matter what happens, haha, exactly as I planned.
Right.
Look at the prequels. It's ridiculous. If you look at his plan throughout those, it makes no sense.
Right.
It's
So
just chaos.
he's the playing 3D chess kind of 100 moves ahead kind of guy.
No, he just says he is. I truly believe
Okay.
he just gets it through luck. I rewatched the prequels recently, and just I focused on what was Palpatine doing during certain parts. And it makes no sense. He just makes people fight for no reason and then unveils stuff for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, Palpatine's that player in Call of Duty that, he started the game with 15 deaths, gets that one kill, he's like, haha.
Haha, exactly as I planned. Yeah.
Nice.
My team loses so we can win the war. Like, what?
Well, okay. I don't know. I did like the Dark Empire feel to it.
Yes.
That was cool.
The whole movie felt like expanded universe,
Yes.
which I liked, but it felt weird compared to the last two movies, feeling foreign, like completely. Just
But
well, not episode 7, not so much, but
Yeah, so 7 kind of felt like a...
episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to a certain degree, yes. Which it still felt like Star Wars to me. This thing definitely felt like Star Wars. It felt like EU Star Wars, which I'm good with, I
Take
grew
over-
up on that
yeah,
stuff,
Take it over the sequels. Like,
Well, it's part of the sequels now.
yeah, that's true. It's like, okay, Palpatine's using crazy expanded universe force powers.
Right.
I'll take it, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was completely fine with his level of power. Especially after he, siphoned some off of the other two.
Right.
It seemed a bit over the top, but I don't hate that. I
feel like if you bring Palpatine back,
Mm-hmm.
you have to go over the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, like, I thought he was the one who rose the the Final Order, right? That's the name of the fleet, Final Order?
The Final Order.
Yeah. I thought he was the one who rose the ships up, and he was controlling them with the Force. Because he, like, raises his hands. but
Right.
He did, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so strong. But it felt a little off. Just a little bit.
Okay. So, here's another thing I wanted to touch on. Something that was kind of in our face throughout this movie was this force healing ability, right?
Yeah.
So, I've seen a lot of talk since this movie's been released about why is this a thing now? Why couldn't we have saved Qui-Gon with it? Why couldn't we have saved Vader with it? Why,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
Thoughts?
because in order to bring someone back from the dead, you gotta give up your life,
Right.
But still, I feel like a lot of people would have done that. I think the big thing was the reason Kylo could do that was because of their connection. What is it? Diact?
The
dyad.
Dyad.
They are dyad in the
It
force.
literally just means connection, but
Right.
I thought that was kind of the reason. It was kind of like healing himself in a way. Because, yeah, if you can just raise people from the dead now, that's okay. Why didn't they do that?
Right.
Rey was able to do it with this snake creature.
Well, she
Right.
healed him. She didn't bring him back. Like, the healing thing, like, why is that not? I don't know. It's been in a lot of the games, but no one has used it in any of the movies.
In The Mandalorian.
Right.
Which came out a day before.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk about that with Doug, and he finally watched it. But it came out a day before. They made that canon a day before. I thought that was ridiculous.
Right. So this, you say made it canon, but this healing ability, has it been in any of the Disney canon stuff?
Don't believe so.
No.
Wasn't in Rebels, Clone Wars. I don't think any of the newer books. I haven't read a lot of the newer books,
Okay.
but it was mainly a thing used in the Old Republic.
Okay.
It was in the KOTOR games and all that.
Right.
Yeah, all non-canon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But in the vein that this is, the first EU Star Wars movie,
right.
it makes sense. I mean, it's something that's been in the old expanded universe, in the games, in stuff created by Lucasfilm or LucasArts
Right.
at the time.
Yeah. Which I'm cool with. I like it. I'm just
Let it breathe.
yes.
Yeah, my biggest problem
Exactly.
is that it was in The Mandalorian the day before the movie came out.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Because that means it's not just Rey and Kylo that can do it. Other Force users can do it too, and they haven't since.
I mean, to be fair, it was hinted at in The Mandalorian in like episode 2.
Yeah.
Right.
It was hinted at for sure. But
Yes.
So we've seen Rey and Kylo do it, and we've seen Baby Yoda.
Yep.
That's it.
It's true.
Seems a little weird. I think the longer we go and more people start using it, because that will probably happen now. That's usually what happens when the new Force power becomes a thing.
So
Yeah.
my thing is, right, so there's and we might cross the streams here a little bit with movie and Mandalorian, but my thing is this. There's this healing ability, okay, from Jedi. It was never really in movie canon, okay, up till now. But what we did have was Bacta. I don't know. I thought that was kind of like what was used for that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Kinda
Well,
like,
I mean,
it's
so in situations that you can wait to use Bacta, I think that's what they do because this healing ability comes at a cost.
right.
Like even to heal, you have to transfer some of your life force into what you're healing.
Yeah.
So you are weakened by it.
Right.
So one of my things that I keep saying, and this is how I explain it to myself to like it pretty much. The reason we haven't seen this is because to use this ability, use the light and the dark side, not just the light.
What makes you say that?
You are healing someone, that's the light part, but you are draining your own life, which is dark. And the reason Baby Yoda can do it is because we've seen him choke people. He's pure neutral. And Rey used dark constantly throughout the movie. And she used light, and then in the end, when Ben becomes Ben, same thing.
Yeah, but would draining yourself to save someone else be a dark ability?
It's a sacrifice.
The whole
It's a
drain
selfless
thing,
act.
Yeah.
Like I would think that would be very much light.
I
Yeah.
feel like it could be used in the opposite way too, like Palpatine used it though, how he drained life out of others to give him life.
Well, yeah. That would be using the dark, like to take
Right.
someone else's.
Yeah, I
would
feel like
totally
it's
be
the same
dark side.
ability though.
But to
No way.
sacrifice your own, I think that would be total light side.
That's
so
how
it's
I
a
explain
force,
it to
essence,
myself.
push, or pull.
Yes.
Yes. So
Interesting.
to give it to someone else would be
An essence push.
and would be very much light side.
Right.
To pull, yeah, that's total dark. A Jedi would never steal life essence from another being.
Right. My biggest thing about this whole thing in this film, I think we almost could have done without the whole snake bit.
Oh, like her healing the snake?
Right. Because that's just kind of like
That seems
set
kind of
up.
random.
It's set up to, get us ready for what she does for Kylo.
Yeah, it makes
If she'd have just done that for Kylo,
would have been cooler.
it probably would have been a little cooler.
Because when she stabbed him, I thought, oh no, that's it. I want to see more from Kylo. And she immediately heals him. I'm like, oh, she can just okay. This is easy.
So I think, when she does run Kylo through, yeah, that's he's distracted by Leia, right?
Yep.
She feels, Leia becoming one with the Force, I guess, right?
Mhm.
And immediately realizes, and I don't know, that whole moment right there, the way that was done was really cool as far as I was concerned.
See, I actually take issue with that moment a little bit.
Yeah, because
Why?
Leia didn't disappear until Kylo died, which seemed weird.
Well, it's not
that's
just-
the part that seemed weird to me.
It's not just that, but like, I understand Leia reached out
Yep.
to Ben, and that's why he was able, like, he had that connection.
Right.
But I feel like Rey had a deeper connection with Leia. I don't like that her sense of that death took so long.
Hmm.
You know, like she was already dead by the time, you know, Rey stabs him, and then feels it. Like I didn't like that delay. Like her bond with Leia at that point should have been much stronger.
I feel like she was.
I don't like that it took her so long to feel.
I don't
that.
know that it, because
I think it was because she was enraged in the dark side at that point. Like nothing
Okay.
was going to stop her. So after she did it, the rage falls away, and then she realizes, wait, that was Leia. I think she kind of just saw red.
Okay,
I think
I'll buy that.
I
buy that.
think
Clouding her judgment.
Yeah.
at that moment, Kylo had Rey beat. Right?
Oh yeah,
Easily.
Leia distracts him and allows Rey to get the upper hand. But Leia doing that, it costs her her life. That's when Rey feels that and realizes, what did I just do? So I don't know. I like the way that played out, actually.
I want to say.
I mean,
that's
she
one
was
of the
she was
reasons-
dead before, like, because Kylo's distraction, like it started with Leia reaching out, but him turning away and losing focus was her moment of death.
So again, to have it moment by moment ingrained in my brain, I'm gonna have to see it again. But
That's,
Yeah.
That's one of the things I want to see it again for.
even still, I could see that taking a moment for that to reach Rey. Because, you know, like Hunter said, this battle, of all lightsaber battles, this one was getting to the point, right? This one reminded me most of Luke on the Death Star, right? Where you have lightsabers clashing just everything you have with every swing, right?
Yeah.
It was getting, you know, hardcore heavy. So she was definitely tapping into the dark a little bit.
Oh, 100%. She went into the fight fully planning to kill Kylo.
Right.
She didn't hold back at all. Kylo went in to kind of just toy with her and try to convince her that, hey, see what I'm doing.
Right.
He's the hero. He really is. Like, you look throughout the movie, especially because of the new comics and all that, it's like, he really wasn't that bad of a dude.
Right.
I mean, aside from the billions of people he killed, but
I mean, it happens. Star Wars.
right.
Vader got redeemed. I mean, anyone can be redeemed after that.
That is kind of crazy.
yeah, but I think redemption it had to come at a cost, like it did. It had to come at the cost of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was any way for Kylo Ren to be redeemed and like live a happily ever after life after this.
That was never going to happen. It couldn't. It couldn't.
I would.
Well, I mean, if you
yeah.
get on Twitter, there's a lot of people that think it could have.
So
Really?
I
Yeah.
think the death was way too predictable. I was hoping there'd be some other solution where he had to live with his sins and try to make amends. Sure, it wouldn't be possible, and he wouldn't be like a guy training Jedi and stuff like that. But maybe he'd be like a protector. He'd be like
But
someone
he can't.
working.
I mean, Yoda said it.
uh,
Once you head down the
once
dark
you-
path.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't take Yoda like what he says for everything, because he also said Vader couldn't be redeemed. Period. He's like,
I don't
you have to
think-
kill Vader or we lose.
Well, I don't think Yoda anticipated Vader
Well,
doing what he
hold
did.
on. He
Same thing. He's not God, so
didn't say Vader couldn't be redeemed. He said Vader couldn't be turned back.
that's kind of the.
There's a difference between having a moment where you turn on your heels and do the other thing, and then going on and living your life. There was no way for him to be a Sith and then come back and be a Jedi again.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. And this was even talked about in the Plagueis novel, which I know is no longer canon. But they talked about a Sith who tried to go to the light. Tried to go back to the light, but he couldn't. Because once you give yourself to the dark side does not want to give you back.
So if we're using Legends, Revan,
But he never stayed good.
didn't he?
No. Revan went back and forth.
After his fall? Is there stories I do not know about? Because there definitely could be.
Well, I mean, he shows up again in the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought he was like the redemption. Oh.
But at the cost of his life.
Yeah. Well,
That's my point. It comes at the cost of your life. Am I wrong?
I feel like there's other ways to go about it. Death seems way too easy. Like, I feel like they need to like atone for their sins in some way besides just being able to die and turn into a Force ghost and everything's good now.
Well, I mean, they atone for their sins by, sacrificing themselves to save someone else.
That seems too easy, though.
It's you say it seems easy, but it's like the ultimate. You're giving up your life. I mean,
giving
do the
up
right
your
thing.
life, but say you killed billions like Vader,
Right.
like he
So
could do some stuff to help somehow.
So what you want is for them to suffer a lifetime of hardship.
Yeah.
Okay.
This sounds like it's turning into death penalty.
Well, I mean, it's. I don't think if you were to put somebody through that, right? The Force was to put somebody through that would just cause them to go to the dark again. I mean, it doesn't make sense to.
And that's probably the reason why it is the way it is.
Right.
Because, I mean, you can't be Darth Vader and then come back to the public and say, nope, I'm good now. Sorry.
yeah.
Exactly.
They'd never follow you. And
I was Kylo Ren. Now I'm Ben.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out. Yeah.
no, they'd never follow you. So you just end up being enraged by this over and over and over again until you're consumed back into the dark side.
Right.
Like they could hold it back for a little while. It doesn't bother me. They'll come around. The hell they will.
Yeah.
It's very extreme cases of they literally killed billions of people. But like an average dark side user, I don't know.
Okay, say they killed 10 people.
Yeah.
You still got to live with the stigma that you're a murderer.
How many
Right.
people? How many Jedi have killed people?
Yeah, but I
In
mean,
defense.
defense.
Yeah, quote unquote defense. I mean, look at the Clone Wars. They just murder people
That was mainly droids.
mainly, but there's still people in there.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the whole soldier thing,
right.
If you do it in war, that's one thing. It's war. You kind of get a free pass for war.
But for the Sith, it's also war.
Yeah, but it's a war against everything else.
Like I feel like
Everything
this is
good.
like two different sides right now. Like the winning side and the right side.
Well, I mean, the losing side never gets forgiven. Never.
Right. Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's in every war, the losing side, there's trials. People are executed for war crimes.
Yep. They run away, move to Argentina.
Never heard of that planet.
But I mean, it never turns out bad for the people who go the wrong way, or it never turns out good. Rather, it's always bad for the people who go the wrong way.
Right. I'm okay with the way things are as far as that goes. As far as you turn back from the dark side, you in order to do that, you are making some sort of ultimate sacrifice, and that's the way it is. I half expected to see
And
Ben.
and let's keep in mind though, this is a fantasy story that romanticizes this kind of stuff, and you know, in order to have that
Oh, yeah.
romanticized version, you can't say, oh well, they'll live with their sins.
Right, exactly.
No,
There's that.
The romance of it would be that, you know, they selflessly sacrifice themselves to save so and so, which therefore let the other side go on to win.
So there's a perfect example of what I'm trying to say, but I do not want to spoil Fallen Order. So hopefully in the future we come back and talk.
You don't
about
want to spoil it for who?
people who haven't got a chance to beat it that are listening, and you too, because I know you haven't beaten it.
Well, I mean, I am immune to spoilers. It
I was
does
gonna
not
say,
affect me.
Don't worry about me.
I knew the ending of The Rise of Skywalker before I watched it.
That's awful. That's awful. That's I would. Okay. Are you good for
So,
spoilers? Because
I'm good.
I'll talk.
Hey,
Yeah, talk.
we are in spoiler territory already.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll throw a little extra out there for everyone. If you don't want to hear, you know, Jedi Fallen Order spoilers, pause it, come back.
Yeah. Pause it. Go beat it real quick. 'Cause that game is fantastic.
Right.
Okay. Seer. Do you guys know about her? The mentor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't. Okay. She falls to the dark side after seeing her apprentice turned into an inquisitor. Okay.
Okay.
The entire story, she has shut herself off to the Force. In the end, she decides that she needs to finish this, and she accepts it again. And like you guys said, she falls to the dark.
Okay.
But with the help of Cal, she rises again. And this time it seems to stick. And then it kind of ends. So I feel like, because we're obviously getting a Fallen Order too, because of the way it ended.
Okay.
The way they set it up, I feel like this is going to be the type of redemption story where she is able to stay in the light. Like, they set it up perfectly for that.
Okay.
But you think it'll stick? I mean, like,
The way they
that's
ended
just the
it,
thing.
yes.
So the thing
Like, it
is,
sticks for now.
the rest of the story hasn't played out yet.
I know, but in the end, when she threw away the dark and accepted the light, it like awakened power. Like, it seemed like she really like came back. And something
But
good for her.
what happens in the future when she takes a blaster bolt to the knee and gets pissed off?
I don't know. That's why I think it'd be a good thing to come back to, like, once the second game comes out, to see where her story goes, because she was super interesting.
Right.
Yeah, she starts using the dark side on Vader, and it's incredible. But great game. But that was like the specific new thing that I hope they kind of just use the idea of you can become a better person. Like, once you do a bad thing, you don't have to stay a bad thing.
Right.
Because that's kind of the message right now. Like, sure, there's extremes of they've killed so many people, but say you fall to the dark side because you see your best friend get killed, and you kill the person who killed your best friend. So now you're just doomed?
I mean, there's a difference between, like, a complete fall
Right.
and flirting with the dark. Because I mean,
Right.
Luke flirted with the
Luke.
dark side.
Luke did.
Ezra
Ray did. Yep.
Every Jedi does. What's
Yeah.
the quote? Like every Jedi has to battle with the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So I mean, is she completely fallen? Like,
once you give yourself to the dark side, then it's all over.
So it's like
because it sounds like to me like
Yeah.
she's never given herself totally to the dark side.
it was either really close to that happening, or it was like it happened because she cut herself off because she got scared about it. Pretty much, like she did it so much that like
Right. Well, that tells me though that she's not committed to it
that's
because
true.
she's shutting off from it.
That's true.
She's scared of it.
So when you fully accept the dark side, is that kind of like
I think
becoming a
that's the
Sith
moment.
Knight, like kind of like a Jedi Knight, I guess.
I guess, yeah, because that's the way it's put in Star Wars. You're
Because
giving yourself
Anakin-
to it. Yeah.
Anakin did dark side stuff all the way through the prequels,
Yeah.
He was,
and
Oh, look at
And it-
episode 2.
he
the
just
Sand
kills
People,
the
right?
Sand People, yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
like-
I mean, but he wasn't Darth Vader
right.
until he kneeled before Palpatine and got declared to be Darth Vader, and gave himself to that, committed to that. So I think you have to commit to it before you're fallen. So whether you dabble in it and use it at times is one thing, but I think you have to. I mean, granted, Yoda did say once you start down the dark path, which I don't know, maybe that means committing to it, maybe it don't.
I don't trust anything Yoda says because of the prequels. I just don't. He was so wrong about everything. It's like, sure, he's very wise, but he can't actually tell the future. So,
I mean, to be fair, in the prequels, I mean, he kind of had a Sith influencing everything he saw.
Right.
yeah, but he literally had coffee with the strongest Sith Lord ever multiple times and didn't realize it.
Strongest Sith Lord ever.
Palpatine, easily.
Right.
Easily.
So could easily veil his presence.
I mean, he's the Jedi Grand Master standing a foot away from him.
Right.
That seems ridiculous. The
But
fact that these people can now sense each other from like planets away casually,
right,
I feel like you can hide yourself, but you can't do it that much.
Plagueis novel. I mean, I keep bringing it up,
Uh-huh.
but I mean, they go over that masking your presence over and over
They
again.
do, they
in
do
that
it in the
book.
Bane trilogy as well, with Zana
So-
doing it.
Yeah, they completely cover that. Like that is a thing the Sith do.
But it's not canon, so it's hard.
I understand that it's
Yeah.
not canon, it's hard, but they tap into this stuff all the time.
I was going
Yeah.
to say, it might not be canon, but he did that somehow.
He did it somehow, I know, but just the fact that no Jedi ever, like even with his guard down ever, the fact that like when he went and destroyed Maul and Savage in the Clone Wars and used all that dark side stuff, like when he did stuff like that and they still didn't sense it, that's just crazy to me. Like, what are they doing?
Hell, in the Plagueis novel, they were doing it on Coruscant.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Hey.
not a Yoda fan. Not.
Oh, that's funny. So, okay.
They tell them too that their arrogance blinds them.
Right.
Their
This means
self,
Yoda's
assurance
yeah.
that they're so good blinds them to that. So it's not just Yoda's fault. I mean, if
Well,
that's the case, you don't like any of the Jedi.
Uh-huh. I like Qui-Gon and Luke.
Nice.
Wow.
I think that's it for Jedi.
Ahsoka.
I am no Jedi.
Yeah,
So-
she was.
She was, and I liked her, but then when she woke up, I was like, okay, now you're awesome.
She woke up.
Yeah.
Right on. Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsandMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsandMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com. All right, so let's swing this thing back around. We kind of went a little crazy there. So
crazy.
I am back.
Yeah, I mean,
I have spoken.
we said deep dive, and wow.
Yeah.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet, one thing we really need to talk about, is Billy D back as Lando.
Yes.
What thoughts?
Okay. I thought it was awesome. I don't know what else to say as far as like overall. I mean, there were certain things in at certain points that I thought were pretty cool. I don't know. His introduction was cool. As soon as that stormtrooper got hit by that like crossbow bolt, I was like, "That's Lando."
Yeah.
I knew it. You know, it was. But
Real quick, did you recognize the voice of the stormtrooper?
That was the cameo, right?
It wasn't a big cameo, but it's a guy who does stormtroopers a lot.
was it David Collins?
No.
It was David Collins.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Just fun little thing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. But the thing I was gonna say real quick about Lando, he fell into the role so naturally.
Yes.
Oh
He-
yeah.
Like there wasn't a single second where I'm like, this feels weird. Like for Luke, I mean, obviously, okay, let's not talk about Luke. Like Harrison Ford, like coming into Han, I thought he did great, but still there was a couple things like, maybe Han wouldn't do that. Every single thing Lando said seemed like Lando. Like I thought, out of all the original trilogy characters, he really fell into his role like instantly and perfectly.
Well, that just means he made good on everything he said, because he said many times, "I am Lando."
Exactly. He has.
That's true. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
has.
So-
I believe it. He is.
I am Lando. Lando is me. Yes.
Yeah.
and he wasn't lying.
Right.
Yeah, Lando was so good. Like just
Yeah.
as far as his, like you said, falling back into the role, so good, seamless.
So one of the things, right? He's talking about the search for. Well, they were searching for the Wayfinder, right? He and Luke.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's yeah.
This is something that I thought, okay, this is a story set up for us, right?
It's total EU too,
Yeah.
because Luke and Lando used to travel all the time together,
yes,
and it was great.
It was.
They were like totally opposites, and it
Yep.
was so cool to see.
And hot
them.
chocolate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool, I thought. Now, having Lando go seek out help, you know, I thought it was cool, but it was also like, I don't know. I guess it has to be somebody with Lando's gravitas in order to do that, right?
There were so many ships. If you're talking about how many people he got in
Yes.
that amount of time, yes.
Yes, for the final battle. Yes.
They needed a single line to fix that, I think. When Leia's trying to signal out, the First Order is jamming the signal. That would have explained it all. Because it's
I like
Leia.
it.
It's
Exactly.
Princess Leia. Like, I get that people are not trusting her because they know she is Darth Vader's daughter,
Right.
which that is a big thing. I'll
that.
give you that. But
Yeah.
like the fact that she got no one, I feel like that was
Well,
Right.
I mean, there was a lot of story to that too, with Leia and, you know, her position within the New Republic, and her kind of being outcast because she was always what they saw as crying wolf.
Yes, she was kind of like the paranoid
So-
person looking at the skies falling. Yeah,
This is something that's been touched on. They really didn't. Now, I will say, after the destruction of the Hosnian system, they probably should have listened. Damn it!
you'd think.
Like-
Yeah.
But like I said, that has been touched on with Leia pretty much screaming, "We got to go to war!" ever since the war stopped.
Right.
And people just wanting to have peace.
That's definitely fair. Yeah.
But I would agree with you too. It would make sense that the First Order was jamming any signal that they tried to get out.
Yeah.
That would just easily explain it. Like, oh, we can't get a signal out.
Yeah. Exactly.
All hope is lost.
I mean, hell, they can jam speeders.
Jam speeders.
I can't
Yeah.
All right. Before we get off the Lando thing, though,
Sorry.
Yes.
real quick, the one scene that really got me, because it was almost note for note, and okay, whatever. I'm an old guy, and it was nostalgic, and it was awesome.
Did you cry?
Not for this.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying.
So,
I'm like, that's fine.
this was where Poe learned.
How'd you do it?
Yeah, how did you all do it?
Yeah.
And then this right here, I flashed back to Luke standing next to his X-Wing. I don't know, R2. I can't do it. I can't go kill my own father. And up walks Ben. Right? Here we have Poe. How did you do it? I don't know what to do. And then in walks Lando. Lando was the Obi-Wan for Poe Dameron.
That's really cool.
That was awesome. So, yeah. If
that whole scene did hit me right in the feels too.
You're
Not
explaining it
just for
now,
that.
and I'm remembering it. I'm like, oh man,
yeah.
that's
See,
awesome.
If that doesn't get you, man, oh,
Yeah, we had each other.
right.
Yeah, that was so good because, and that also kind of touched on the whole. We never got to see our trio back together.
Right.
And I guess that kind of explains the failings of the Resistance up until this point, because they weren't fighting in this way. They weren't fighting for each other.
Yeah, Luke was doing his own thing. Han went off to be a smuggler. Leia was the only one that really stayed.
Right. It's true.
And not just that, but the Resistance as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sentiment that he echoed was everybody in the rebellion. They weren't just fighting to stop the bad guys. They were fighting because each other was all they had.
right.
And they, okay, if my life was lost, it was lost to, protect the person next to me.
Yeah.
I think
You
it's
never
like-
got that feeling throughout this whole trilogy that they felt that way.
Yeah, I think a slight problem they did is in the very end they separated the trio again. So who's to say the same thing doesn't happen again? Rey is doing her Jedi stuff,
Right.
and then they're going to make a failed government again.
I like how you say that. They're going to make a failed government again.
Because that's
It's-
all they do.
That's what
It's all government does.
Star
That's
Wars.
what every government does.
Star Wars. It wouldn't be Star. It would just be Star.
So it is cyclical. That's the way it is. That's the way everything is. So I don't know.
It's been a rough 100 years though.
Yeah,
for
sure,
governments.
sure. Yeah,
Hey, you can't talk about the glory days of the Republic if the Republic doesn't fall.
right.
Yeah. Saying the Empire had a good 40 years or something like that. Not 40 years. 20-ish.
Yeah, 20-ish
Yeah,
years.
20-ish years. Yep.
Yeah.
20, 25, somewhere in there.
Solid.
Yep. That's funny.
Seems like a, you know, a good percentage for every empire that followed a republic.
Besides the old, yeah. The
Well,
Eternal
no,
or
I think
whatever.
Followed
he's
the
talking
Republic.
Rome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking Rome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, its transition into an empire was its downfall.
Yep.
You know, so makes sense.
So that was I gotta say, bringing it back around to Lando, that was the biggest thing I caught, was that scene.
Oh, that was definitely
And
that was definitely his biggest moment in this film.
That's
Right.
really, yeah. That's something I didn't even think about because the movie is so action packed that, again, I want to see it. So,
Yep.
because that's such a big moment.
And then they left us open for something, you know, Lando and Janna.
Yeah. Do you think that's his kid?
Who knows?
Okay.
I mean, could be.
I've been seeing some things that it's either his kid or it seemed kind of weird that, like, why would he help kind of thing. I know I just said Lando was Lando the whole movie, but that seemed like, okay, I'll go with you, I guess. Maybe.
I don't
feel
know.
like we'll get a story out of that for sure, though.
Seems like a Disney Plus series.
No,
Right,
no,
exactly.
no. Stop it. Just make books. I need more books to listen to.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
Ah, seems legit to me.
Yeah. All right. So, we got more Lando. We ready to move on?
Yep.
I got to throw one out here. So, and I was so happy she said this. After we got home, we were talking about the movie. This is after our first viewing. And my wife, Lo, says, I think I could have done without the kiss between Kylo or Ben and Rey. And I looked at her and I said, I'm glad you feel that way because it felt out of place. She said it like every tight-knit relationship doesn't have to be romantic.
Yeah.
And I agree. And she reiterated all of her thoughts on that again today after we saw the film again. So,
It just doesn't make sense. Why would Rey be into this dude? I know you guys touched on
But-
that. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so I don't disagree. Okay,
right.
I don't disagree in the respect that every relationship doesn't have to be romantic, right? Every situation like this doesn't have to be romantic. But I think there has been a romantic feeling in Rey through all three of these films. Well, two of these films.
Yeah.
For Ben. Not for Kylo Ren, but for Ben.
But
Okay.
She's only seeing Kylo Ren the whole time.
Yeah, but no. I mean, with Snoke, I mean, that was total Ben.
Was it? Because
Yeah.
he immediately says, hey, join me. Let's rule the Empire.
Well, yeah, but in the moment, he wasn't thinking of. So, his act to kill Snoke and do all that was for one thing: to save Rey. It wasn't.
And gain
It wasn't
power
for his
himself.
ulterior
Power.
motives of being supreme leader.
I thought it was power.
Huh? You're saying it wasn't his intention?
Not in that moment.
Is this opinion or?
This is my opinion.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think it's entirely him wanting to be supreme leader.
And it's just an extra that, hey, maybe he gets a hot girlfriend out of it.
No, I disagree. I think the interactions between the two of them, through their force connection, she was bringing Ben Solo out.
She might have
Totally.
been able to bring that out a little bit, right? but he wasn't going to allow it to happen.
Oh, he was fighting it for sure.
So
For sure he was fighting it, but it was coming out nonetheless.
and okay,
'Cause he wanted.
So let's say she brings Ben Solo out of him. I still don't understand why they have this romantic connection.
He killed her semi-dad in front of her.
His real dad.
Yeah, his real dad. Yeah. He sort of killed, not really, but like Luke. Same thing. Like that felt forced. My whole thing was maybe, I hate that I have to keep trying to explain it to myself this way so I like it, but look, she just like came back from death. They just went through a lot, okay? They're both attractive people, right? They just won. They're feeling a lot of high energy. They just kiss. It doesn't mean a lot. It's just, it's a pure emotional just thing.
I mean, I'm with you guys in the fact that I never wanted this relationship to be a thing.
No,
because
at all.
because of who he was as Kylo Ren.
Right.
Regardless of what he could be as Ben Solo, regardless of that, who he was at Kylo Ren should have just ended this.
Yes.
Okay. But I think it is in front of us, throughout at least these last two films, that she is having a connection with Ben, the other side of him. I think that is there. Whether I agree with it or not is not of any consequence. I think it's there. And she was developing an attraction to Ben Solo.
I think.
And she even says as much. I wanted to take your hand.
Ben's hand. Yeah. But I think in lieu of the whole Kylo Ben dichotomy, I feel like the romantic portion of their relationship lessens her strength.
Not any argument.
I mean,
but
her strength in which ways?
As a person,
there nonetheless is all I'm saying.
Like her,
I think it's been there in front of us the whole time.
Like, okay.
Some people
they could have just hugged. Okay, the big thing I've been saying is look at Rogue One. They didn't kiss in the end.
Right.
They hugged, and
right.
It was emotional. You
yes,
felt it.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Don't disagree.
Yep. But
sure, they might have given, like, she was like giving him the eyes and stuff, right? But like it wasn't done well. Like that part, like the whole Raylo thing wasn't done well in the series.
What we got here, though, I will say, was very Romeo and Juliet like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And he straight up said no and put his body away so she couldn't bring him back. So I thought was funny.
Oh,
that
right.
He instantly yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm like, when he brought her back, I thought it was just gonna constantly go on.
Right, you go back and forth,
yep,
saving each other.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, okay,
but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to make any argument that it's a shitty love story, but it's a love story. Like it was there. Not done great.
Yeah, it was shitty.
Mainly because, it wasn't done from the beginning.
Right. It was part of The Last Jedi that was kind of like shoehorned in there for sure.
Like,
right, but
I get the connection
so they needed,
thing.
Yeah.
Their attempt to do this was an attempt to make a connection between the two of them that was like Luke and Vader. So that was the intent here. She needed a reason to want to save him. And I'm sorry, but the desire to save someone is never going to be 100% selfless. Ever.
Right.
There's going to be some selfish intentions there, no matter what. Whether it's because you'll feel good about yourself or you care for that person.
I think it was
because your care for another person is selfish in its own right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for both of them is they didn't want to be alone because they were alone. It was like
don't disagree. That's
like selfishly, Kylo really wanted to be with Rey, so he wasn't alone, and Rey didn't want to be the last Jedi. So it was kind of like a.
For me, that moment that Rey heals Kylo, in my mind, she's got to be thinking, "Oh God, what did I just do?"
Mm-hmm.
Like she had to fix the wrong that she just did.
Yeah, but without any care or anything like that. I mean, killing the bad guy is what the good guy does. Like
right. But I don't know, man. I'm just.
I mean, a lot of people would just be like, "Okay, that kill felt dirty because he was thinking about his mom that just died."
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't fair.
That was just a dirty kill,
Right.
Wasn't fair.
There's
no honor in that.
Ooh, let's talk about how much the movie immediately fixed the wrongs it did. Chewbacca.
Ah, yes.
I remember when she used Force Lightning and blew up the ship, I yelled out, "Holy shit. They just killed Chewbacca." I'm
not going to lie, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That moment, I almost wanted to get up and leave. Like, you just killed Chewbacca, I'm out. Like, not even in a good way.
It was the moon.
It was the moon.
The
moon falling on Chewbacca.
Dropping a moon on Chewbacca. I was like,
my mouth
are you serious?
Was open
I literally wanted to get up and leave.
For the whole 5 minutes. It, like, maybe not Chewbacca in there, but I feel like she needed to have some real awful thing. Like, she used the dark side. Sure, it gave her strength, but she just killed a friend.
Right?
Something. Like, that would have been massive throughout the movie.
But Chewbacca really... Like, all they've done in this trilogy is just kill old characters.
Yep.
So I was just like, come on. In that way...
I have to say,
no.
I got to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that happened, I and forgive me, but I was like, Chewbacca's not dead, because I saw him running through a Star Destroyer corridor shooting stormtroopers in a trailer.
My brain didn't think like that. I was so into the movie that it just, oh my God. Because the trailers, I always think they don't show everything.
Right,
it's
right.
Like,
hey, I saw Rogue One. Trailers don't mean a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so
I get it. But I think we're kind of beyond that point now. Because to a degree, because of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. It wasn't so much that they killed Chewbacca. It's the way that I thought they killed Chewbacca. It's the way that it was done, because I was already bracing myself for Chewbacca's death.
Right.
Beforehand, because of 3PO with, his bowcaster and bandolier and all that.
Oh, right.
I couldn't rationalize in my head any other way why 3PO would have that stuff. Turns out it wasn't that big a deal.
Right. Exactly. Here, hold this.
Yeah. But I was like, that imagery kind of had me prepared for Chewbacca's death. But if it was that way, I'd have been like, come on, really? This is how you kill Chewie?
I think I could have accepted it. I liked how random it was.
Yeah, but it didn't have nothing to do with the Force, so you were okay.
Yep. No, like random stuff happens.
Agreed.
And
It
sure,
does.
I agree. Maybe not Chewie, and maybe it doesn't need to kill, but like severely wound. Like some kind of thing that isn't instantly fixed.
Yeah, I mean, some cost to using an ability like that
Yeah.
would have been
Like
good,
Like put I don't even know who
but
it
that cost
was.
shouldn't come at Chewbacca.
Right.
He's already had enough, but someone it could have been. Maybe even like 3PO. Like some kind of actual like bad thing, I guess.
Again, this is where we're talking. If this film had more room for things to breathe, right? I mean, it could have
Yeah,
played
the
out
film-
better.
Yeah.
It could have let that play out a little bit. Her thinking that.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
that
had
should have been
happened.
longer. That should have been like 30
Yes.
minutes instead of 5, was it?
Agreed. And I think her thinking that it came at that cost would have been enough.
Yeah, and they didn't need to tell us that he was alive. Like have us think
Oh,
with
they needed to
Rey.
tell me.
Nah.
You might have had some people leaving the theater, like Joe.
Oh, man,
You
dude,
would have
come on.
said it's Star Wars.
I mean,
Then it makes that relieved feeling even better. That was my thing. That 5 minutes, I was like, all I could think about is he really dead? Is he really dead? And then we see him. I'm like, okay, oh.
yeah, you're going, is he really dead? Is he really dead? I'm sitting there going, no.
You're like, Star Wars
No.
is dead. Star Wars is
no.
dead.
So that hit me, man. That was like, what? No.
Definitely.
And like I said, it would have been different. I just didn't want to see any more of those characters die in such a way, you know?
Right.
I mean, I knew we were going to lose Leia in this film. You know, we lost Han already. We lost Luke. Yeah, okay, Luke comes back as a glowy.
We lost Luke.
Yeah, we lost Luke.
The Last Jedi.
We lost Luke. So, yeah. I wasn't ready for that. If Chewie would have died in battle, like a battle,
Right.
okay.
He was the one that killed Palpatine. Somehow.
Rips his arms off.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Rips his arms off and shocked him with the force lightning coming out of his fingers. Like,
That'd been awesome. I love it. So the
it's
part,
what Wookiees do, man.
yeah, it is. The part with Chewie that really got to me, I gotta say, was when he learned of Leia's death.
Oh, and he just
He
collapsed.
broke down.
He said, I have no one.
Oh my
that
God.
was- yeah.
That
Oh, that
That
hit me right in
choked
the
me up.
feels.
I think that was probably, that might have been the big thing that really
Yes.
got me.
Yeah, and if they would have killed Chewie on that ship, who wouldn't have got that?
exactly.
Hey, I agree. No Chewie, no death, but someone. All right.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready to lose Chewie, man. That Chewie was one of those characters from my childhood that you instantly attach to. Like small role, but Chewbacca stuck with me.
He's
It
like
was just cool.
he's like the companion, right? I mean, he's Han's
Yeah.
companion. You know, a lot of people could identify with Han,
yeah.
and to have a companion like Chewie, you know, it's like everyone with their, you know, I want to
Best
compare
friend.
Chewie to a dog, but I mean, it's like, you know, it's
Oh, I
kind of
th-
like that.
I
you
saw
know?
it as a best friend thing.
Yeah,
more than the
exactly.
dog, yeah.
Best friend.
Hey,
yeah.
Yeah.
Either way,
Name one character in any series as loyal as Chewbacca.
right? There are none.
There are none.
Right. Stop thinking. There are
I'm
none.
not gonna think. So I'll find some weird.
But yeah, that was
Chewbacca would betray no one at any time. Like his friends were his friends, and that's that.
Yes.
So
So talk about righting wrongs, right? What about Chewie getting his medal? Was that? I mean,
it's about damn time.
it just cracked me up. It was hilarious.
Didn't he get the medal and give it back?
No. In the movies?
No, not in the movies. I thought in a book it was said that he was given a medal, and he said, "I don't need this medal," and gave it back.
Either don't recall or I'm unaware of this book.
Probably. I thought I saw something like that going around, and it's like they
Hey,
gave him the
Plagueis
medal.
don't count. That don't count.
Yeah.
So, no, what I do know of is, God, I think it was what is it, MTV Movie Awards or something like that. Carrie Fisher gave Peter Mayhew a medal.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was cool, and I forget what year that was, but you can find that on YouTube. It's neat. But it's I don't know. It's one of those things. You know, people had this complaint for years about Chewie not getting a medal, and here we are. He's got his medal. It's kind of neat.
Yep, about time. Well earned.
Yes.
He had to do a little bit more than the other guys to do it, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Think about it though. That's Han's medal. So.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, anything else we want to cover, guys?
I feel like there's a lot we could go into, but it's just gonna go on forever.
Oh,
We haven't talked about Leia. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff with
Yeah.
Ben still. Seeing
Let's-
so much.
let's talk about Leia. Let's.
Oh, okay.
Well, what do you guys think about the use of the old footage to achieve this?
It was weird. They could. I don't think they could have done better, but it was definitely jarring every time she was on screen. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest thing for me was like, and what felt kind of out of place was kind of the repeated passing of the lightsaber. Like you had this one scene, so you just kind of like played it this way, and then you reversed it and played it the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I think every single one of her scenes, like you could tell, like it was just a little off. But again, they couldn't do anything about that. I'm kind of glad they didn't just say Princess Leia is dead in the crawl,
Agreed.
because that would have
Yeah.
felt weak.
Yes.
But yeah,
Okay. You talk about this being jarring. For me, this was less jarring than watching Tarkin in Rogue One.
Agreed. I wouldn't say jarring is the word, but just it felt out of place in the movie. Like, so they were scenes that were they felt significantly slowed down in a sense
compared to the movie, yeah.
Yes.
compared to the movie.
Agreed.
And it just made him feel a little awkward, with the exception of the scene that they did so well was when she reached out to Ben. I think that moment was done really well.
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes me wonder, like, were they thinking of killing Leia off early on and then thought better of it?
Maybe. Imagine if they did what Luke did, but Leia did in The Last Jedi. Like the whole force projection, or her exerting herself, and that wakes Luke up, or something.
Right.
That could have been a thing. Because wasn't that supposed to be her movie? Or
Well, no, I think this one
This
was
one was.
Rise of
intended.
Skywalker? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't happen. Sucks.
So,
I was
But-
seeing her in the past, though.
All in all,
Yeah.
they did the best with what they had.
Yeah.
And I think it was more fitting than, like you said, writing her out in a crawl.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I definitely applaud the effort
Yes.
in giving Leia a fitting end to her story than just being written out in a crawl, because that's not a fitting end.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the camp that recasting really could have been a thing.
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I
mean,
think
given the
let's put it
given the
this way.
overall feel of this film and how rushed it was anyway, and how they would have rushed through Leia's character no matter what, this was probably the better option than recasting.
Right.
But if they were really going to dive into Leia, I feel like they're doing themselves a disservice by not doing that.
I think they could tell as many Leia stories as they would want to now and recast. It'd make a great Disney Plus series, I'm telling you.
I mean,
I'm just saying, at this point, right? We've got this bookend on the whole Skywalker series. We can still tell some Skywalker stories, including Leia, right? And you can recast it now, and I'm totally cool with that. I wouldn't have wanted to see it in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them abandoning what they wanted to tell because of that. You know what I mean? That's not, like, to me, that's not paying the respect to the character by abandoning what you were going to tell for that character because of unfortunate events.
Well,
it's a big unfortunate event.
Yeah, but to some degree, they had to do that anyway.
Not with recasting. With recasting, they could
tell the story thing.
Tell the story that they were going to tell.
Right.
The story switched from The Force Awakens, then The Last Jedi switched everything, and then it switched again, majorly.
Right.
But
so
they still held firm. They still held firm in saying that Leia's involvement in this final act was going to be huge.
Didn't they say that after she passed away, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could have been just a thing, like a nice thing.
Well, if they just said that, then they're bastards. Because that is just a rude ass thing to say after someone passes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So if I ever found out that was the case, hell, that would really affect my fandom for this new corporation. You know, my fandom of Star Wars under this new corporation, I guess is the better way to put it.
Yeah.
If I found out that was a marketing ploy, that would be unforgivable.
Anything. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I do believe that this company and especially those at the top, you know, Bob, they'll market it whatever they can market. I mean,
they said they wouldn't CGI Leia.
Well, I will say, yeah, they said that.
They did it twice.
But if they said that this was going to be, that Leia was going to be super heavily involved in this film, and they said that just to market this movie, then they can straight up go to hell. Seriously. I mean, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
That is unbelievably wrong.
Well,
don't use our princess like that. Damn it.
I will say this, judging from the things that have been said recently, okay, now I'm talking, I should have clipped it. I don't have a clip, but Bob Iger did say, God, I'm going to paraphrase because I can't quote, but something to the effect of marketing this as the end of the Skywalker saga because it's good marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Kathleen Kennedy said, well, you know, just because it's the end of the Skywalker saga doesn't mean you'll never hear from a Skywalker again. So, you know,
many contradictions.
I'm kind of the opinion that, you know, whatever they can market with, they'll market. So
one of these things just doesn't belong here.
Yeah. So, yeah. But to bring it back around, I think what we got with Leia in this film was pretty good. And
yes.
I am satisfied with it. I'm okay with it. It works for me. I'll say that.
Yeah, and it works for me too. It really does. But I can't help but wonder.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm happy they made her a Jedi. Not just oh yeah, I trained for a little but not much.
Yeah.
They made her like she was a full-on Jedi.
Yes. Now there's a new lightsaber for everyone to add to their collection.
Yeah, you can buy it at Galaxy's Edge.
Pretty good looking lightsaber too. I
It
gotta
is.
say.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good looking lightsaber. Well, I guess that's the next scratch in the surface. Because we proved tonight that we can really dive deep on this stuff. And there's a lot more to go over. So
much.
if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. And of course, you can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts, Doug?
No, I think I'll have some more thoughts next time.
All right. We will talk soon.